We're going to talk about our air compressor and regular maintenance, daily checks that we have on our compressor itself. The compressor comes just like you see it. It comes with an onboard motor starter, powered by a circuit breaker in the breaker panel. It's got a reset button on board, pressure switch that's preset from the factory, pressure gauge in the tank to tell you what kind of pressure we have in it, a drain off on the very bottom to drain off water or moisture, the condensation that builds up in the tanks. It has on it an air filter to filter the air going into the unit. It's driven by a motor, so therefore it has two V-belts on the back that need to be inspected periodically for service and maintenance. It is a pump, so in the crankcase it does have oil in it. The oil needs to be serviced on a yearly basis. It's got a real simple extended drain tube to drain the oil out, and a fill port on the side to fill the oil. Very easy to service, very easy to do, but very often neglected, same as the air filters. Okay. One of the things we look at when we walk in every morning is we look at our gauge to make sure that our pressure is up, that the pump's been running. If we have a system where we shut it off mechanically at night, it'll be down. We want to turn it on in the morning. Every night, the air compressor should be shut off so we have no leaks. Pumps don't run continuously at night. We don't have an air leak or a hose that bursts overnight to cause the machine to run excessively. So every night when we come in, we mechanically shut off the breaker for the compressor, or have it done electronically or by a time clock. And then before we go home, we want to open up our valve. Get rid of any moisture that's built up inside the tank, condensation-wise, and then leave the machine off at night so it'll bleed down and stay dry. In the morning, close the valve, start the compressor up, and it should build up the pressure. You see here the unit is factory set to go on between 140 and 175 psi. That's where it'll cycle off and on. So it should build up to 175 psi and then shut off and satisfy itself, and then come on automatically as our equipment calls for it. On the maintenance side of the unit, twice a year we should change the air filter on these air compressors. Real simple wing nut, kind of like a lawnmower. Pop it off, and it's just a small mini air filter that can be bought from Granger, from your local supplier, if you don't have a maintenance service contract. Replace it. Part numbers are actually right on the cover, so easy to order the replacement parts. Drop the cover back on, reinstall the wing nut. To change the oil on the pump, they've made a convenient extended drain tube. Pull off the cap here, catch your oil in a bucket, pull off your drain plug to let the air in to let it drain out completely, recap it, and then refill it with the proper recommended oil. One of the other items to check on a regular basis, and you check it by listening to it and watching the belts as they run. If a belt starts to stretch and gets loose, you'll see some bouncing on the belt as it runs and operates. You'll see a little bit of bounce to it. That'll sometimes tell you that the belt is stretched. You can sometimes tighten the motor to pick that up, or if not tightening the motor, just replace the belts. They should be checked on probably a monthly basis. The belts probably will be serviced on a yearly basis when you go ahead and change the oils. Those are the basic features that apply to most compressors. Some compressors have automatic drains, and you can buy an automatic drain and add it to any compressor that'll automatically purge any excess moisture or condensation based on a time clock. This one here is also featured with a low oil shutoff switch. So if the oil is neglected and the oil does get hot and gets thick or has a small leak somewhere and goes through the piston seals, then it'll automatically shut off if the oil level does get low to save the pump. So it's got a couple safety features built into it. But if you follow those basic maintenance operations by keeping the water out of the tank, change the oil once a year, change the filters twice a year, and inspect the belts, then you should enjoy some long life out of your compressors.